Everything seemed amazing. Former beauty queen and cheerleader Lindsey Shiver married her college sweetheart, Robert. He was a football player at Auburn and came from a family with lots of wealth. Life was good. The good-looking young couple had 3 boys and lived in a $2.5 million home in Thomasville, Georgia. They flew on his family's private jet and had a vacation home in the Bahamas. And that's where this story turns bad. Lindsay allegedly had an affair with a younger man who lived on the islands. Robert found out about it and filed for divorce. Things got nasty. And that's where this story turns really bad. Lindsay, along with her Bahamian boyfriend, are accused of hiring a hitman to kill Robert. Tonight, we are live from the Bahamas as Lindsay and the other 2 men connected to this alleged murder plot are set to be released on bond. We have the latest from court as we investigate the Bahama love triangle.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. Great to have you aboard. This case, wow. Let's start with who we're talking about. And this is really an all-American couple we're talking about here. You think about the life, right? You start off as you're going to college together, you meet in college, and things just click, and you end up together. You're good looking, you're young, you're in shape, you've got money, you've got the whole world. The whole world. Like you're living the American dream of what you think about, right? You're gonna, you meet that right person, you start a family together. Money's not an issue. We've got these great vacations and everything else. I mean, they had it all, which is what makes this case so confusing. It makes it really confusing because you want to peel back the layers and try to understand what went wrong. Why would it go wrong? How could it go wrong? You're at the beginning. If it's like a football game, you're like, at this point in this picture, it's like the beginning of the second quarter. You haven't even gotten to the halftime festivities yet. You have 3 little boys, private jet with the family, flying down to the Bahamas, $2.5 million mansion. Everything's going well. Everything is going well. Which leads us to the question, why? Why did we end up where we are now? Where she's accused of attempting to have him murdered, like the father of your children, taken out, like a mob hit. I understand divorces get ugly, but at some point you've got to understand that you're not just getting divorced, you have children. Children who need a mom and children who need a dad. Children who will do a lot better if mom and dad, despite whatever differences they have, agree to figure out a way to make this world as good as you can, even though this all-American dream has broken apart. Not the only people getting divorced. Lots of couples coast to coast. It happens. It happens. But why? Why? Why did we get to the point where we got? And then how do you recover from this? I mean, he's fine, right? The plot didn't go through, right? He was not murdered. He's alive. But how do you recover from that? Like the woman that you exchange vows with, the woman who gives birth to the 3 most important things in your life, your 3 little boys, and then she wanted you whacked. What? So how do you recover? How do you put the pieces together? Because the boys are going to be there every day, every night. Got to take care of them. Got to take care of yourself. And this process now just beginning in this case. Matt Johnson, Court TV Crime and Justice correspondent, has more for us tonight in a case that is like a murder plot in paradise.
Y'all are just doing too much. I can't keep up. That's Lindsay Shiver's TikTok profile, a self-proclaimed soccer mom of 3, a former pageant queen who married her college sweetheart, Auburn University football player Robert Shiver.
Ever since I left the city, Soldier Boy,
They look like the Instagram picture-perfect family, active and smiling, taking trips to Disney, skiing in Vail, flying on private jets with a family home in the Bahamas. That is where their story takes a turn.
According to prosecutors, the accused agreed to carry out a murder-for-hire plot on the husband of American Lindsey Shiver.
The Shivers spent a lot of happy times in the Bahamas, but in late July, Bahamian authorities arrested Lindsay and charged her with plotting to kill her husband. 2 other local men were also arrested. One was allegedly a man that she was having an affair with. The other, an alleged hitman. And according to the Bahamas Court News, police say that they uncovered the trio's dark secret while investigating a break-in at a bar. They found messages detailing the murder plot on a burglary suspect's phone. Back in April, Robert, a vice president at a life insurance company, filed for divorce after finding out about her affair. Lindsay filed for divorce the very next day. Lindsay and the 2 men were granted bail after Robert did not object to their release. Her bail conditions state that she must remain in the Bahamas and wear an ankle monitoring device.
Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson is joining us tonight. Look at this. Down in Nassau in the Bahamas. You know, we haven't had a case down there since Anna Nicole Smith and the battle that ensued for little Danny Lynn. Matt, great to see you tonight. You look much more relaxed than you normally do, which is appropriate, right? So where exactly are you tonight? Because you're not on the beach.
Yeah, we're not on the beach, Vinny. We're about 30 minutes from that, and we're here on Nassau Island. This is right here, the capital city, and the notorious Fox Hill Prison here behind me, the sign. You can see the barbed wire, maybe, the Bahamas flag there. I mean, this is where the notorious go. This is where anyone from minimum security to maximum, people beg to be extradited from here. You use a bucket in this facility. You don't get phone calls in this facility. And this is where this beauty pageant, soccer mom, self-proclaimed TikTok star, this mom to those boys, and also this Georgia mother is behind bars tonight. And she's been here since the 17th when she was arrested, Lindsay Shiver. And she was accused, as you heard there, of this murder for hire plot to kill her husband, her estranged husband, as they were going through this custody dispute and beginning this really messy divorce, and they had a vacation home here. Well, tomorrow is going to be a big day because finally she has been granted permission to post bail, $100,000. She's going to be 30 minutes from here, transported in a bus, and she's going to be taken to the local authority there, the local ministry, the police station, where she will be equipped with a bracelet, not like she's used to with Tiffany's, but it's going to be an ankle monitor where they're going to keep track of her. She has to check in 3 times a week, Vinny. And then the next day, she and her co-conspirators will be next door to the courthouse that's connected, and they will be there, required to be there for a status hearing, Vinny.
So, okay, so she's got to stay there. She gets out, she's got to stay in the box. She's not from there, right? They had a vacation home there. So do we know, like, where she's going to go? Like, where she's going to stay?
Right, so she's used to million-dollar mansions there in Thomasville, Georgia. I mean, we shot video there earlier today, Court TV did. And we also hopped on a plane and we came here to the Bahama Islands. And, you know, she has a multi-million-dollar vacation home that she shared with Robert. I'm hearing through my sources that it was the family home, his family. So she's probably not going to be staying there, number one, because she's probably not welcome. Number 2, because she has to check in with authorities here on this particular island every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And her co-conspirators will have to do that as well, alleged co-conspirators. But there's also video that we have of her being arrested and then walk through one of the airports. And this former beauty queen just can't help it, but she is smirking in that video, Vinny.
We're taking a look at it right now. I can't imagine why you would be. Your life is turned upside down. You have 3 little boys in the United States. you're accused of trying to murder their father. I don't understand why you'd be smirking and smiling through all that. Makes no sense to me. There she is. What do we really know about Lindsay and her background?
Well, right, so she was estranged from her husband. He hires a private investigator to look into what she's up to when she's not home in Georgia at the beginnings of their, what has become a messy divorce and the early proceedings of that. So she's here in the Bahamas. She's hanging out on a different island where they have their multi-million-dollar vacation home. And that is also on the same island where her alleged lover happens to work at Grabber's Bar there. And there was a situation that happened at the bar where there was a robbery. He was being questioned. Authorities grabbed his phone. And if you know anyone that travels internationally, they use an app called WhatsApp. So they look into his phone, the WhatsApp. They find messages between the two co-conspirators alleged and Lindsay. And she's sending pictures of Robert, her husband. She's also writing a message that, quote, says, this is according to authorities here in the Bahamas, that says, kill him. So that's what leads to ultimately to the arrest, because authorities question her about it. And we're hearing through our sourcing that the reason why she's behind bars is that she admits to sending those text messages, which leads to the charges. And that leads to today where we are.
I'm trying to think the explanation for that, the innocent explanation. Can't think of it right now. A defense attorney somewhere will come up with something, I'm sure. So you mentioned these other two.
Those defense attorneys here on the island, they are saying that it was all just tongue-in-cheek, that no one intended to hurt anybody. So that's the reason why these alleged co-conspirators were all smiles as they've been arrested. And when they've ever been approached by media, they said it was all a joke. So anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
so
well,
that's their defense at this
it would be a
moment.
joke if it was like between her and her lover, but there's like a third wheel in the whole plot, which would be the supposed potential hitman in all this, who was a suspect in something else. So I think that might be the problem there with that, but we'll see. So what else do we know about these other suspects? One of them is the man that she's allegedly having the affair with that causes all the problems with the marriage.
Right, so that's the guy, 28 years old, and that is Terrance Bethel. He's the one that was working at that local bar where the PI hired by Robert was taking pictures of the two together. And then apparently the PI approached this man and asked about whether or not they were having an affair, and he admitted to it. That's according to our sources. And then the other guy is an aspiring rapper here on the island, an associate of his, a friend. He goes by the name of Farron Newbold. So that's part of his defense as well. You know, I'm an aspiring rapper. I have no idea why anyone would implicate me with any wrongdoing or crimes. I want to be famous one day, and I want to be a rapper. Why would I get involved with a murder? So that's what we know about these guys. So they're already out on $20,000 bail, by the way.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures, and my understanding is the one on the left of the screen with the baseball hat backwards is the lover, alleged lover, and the one with the dreamy green eyes on the right and the earring and the sunglasses is the aspiring rapper.
Dreamy, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his name.
Yeah, that should be MC Dreamy. Okay. Also could be the hitman, allegedly, in all this. Okay. Let's talk about Robert, and he is the victim in all of this. One thing, I don't know if it surprised me or didn't surprise me, but he really didn't have an objection to the woman who allegedly was trying to get him killed getting out on bond, his estranged wife.
Right, so, he gave authorities the go-ahead to allow those two guys to get bond for $20,000, and then hers is quite higher, $100,000. She hasn't done it quite yet. Today is Emancipation Day. It's a national holiday in the Bahamas. So tomorrow is the court date where she's expected to post bail and then be be out with her ankle monitor. And then the next day, all three are going to be in court for their first appearance. But what we know about Robert is, I mean, it was by all accounts a fairy tale. It was a love story. He was a football player there in Auburn University, and she was a cheerleader there. The two fell in love on campus. Cut to, they have several little boys. They have vacation homes. They're living the dream. They're flying out on private jets. She was a cheerleader. She was a beauty queen. She really was loving mom life. She called herself the soccer mom on TikTok. And then he got into insurance, and he was quite passionate about it after he retired from the NFL. In fact, we found a clip of him speaking about it. Take a listen.
You can choose to do a lot of things in life, but I think what's important is surrounding yourself with like-minded people and positive people.
Okay, so there you have it. This guy that, by all accounts, is the good guy in all of this because he doesn't want the mother of his children to stay at this place where, again, it is just notorious for the worst of the worst. People beg to be extradited from here.
So I'm letting the siren just go past there. So how is this story playing? Yeah, how's this story playing locally down there? Like, we know this thing is blowing up in the United States. They're from Georgia. How is it playing down there? Are they cognizant of the immense interest that is growing in this story about this American couple down in the Bahamas?
Well, everyone here at the Fox Hill prison, they're definitely following it pretty closely. They told us that much when they asked us nicely not to shoot on their property. But everybody else that we are talking to, they ask us if we are here, if we're a film crew filming a movie, and then we tell them, no, we're with the media, and we say that we're with Court TV. They watch you, Vinny, and then they say, let me guess which case, and they mention her name. So everybody's following it pretty closely.
All right, so tomorrow is the hearing. So tomorrow she should be free?
Well, tomorrow is the day where we're expecting to see her in the ministry in the local police station in downtown near the cruise ship area. So that's about 30 minutes away. She's going to be bused there, and then she's going to post bail, and then she's going to be fitted with the ankle monitor. So that's tomorrow. And then Wednesday, all three are expected to be in court for the status hearing. So the love triangle is going to be back together here in the Bahamas on Wednesday.
And I'm wondering, you know, a lot of times in the United States, a condition of release might be that co-defendants can't communicate with one another. And I'm wondering what the status is of the relationship.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask when I'm there. I'm going to ask. And, you know, I'm going to also pay attention if she's looking over at Dreamy Eyes and the other guy. You know, maybe doing some Morse code with winking. I don't know. We're investigating, Vinny. We're gonna stay on top of the story for you.
All right, Matt Johnson in Nassau, in the Bahamas tonight, working hard for us. We will speak again tomorrow because huge developments tomorrow. We'll see what more information you can find out. Thanks so much, Matt Johnson. All right, when we come back, we're gonna try to understand why. Why? To me, that's the big question today. Why would this happen when you're talking about this fairy tale? This all-American couple that had it all. Why does that suddenly go away? How can that result in someone being arrested for trying to kill the other one? We'll talk about that, plus coming up in the next hour.
In Manchester, New Hampshire, 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery disappeared in 2019. No one reported her missing, and no one looked for her for 2 years. Then her father, Adam, was charged with her murder. Tonight, Adam is back in court being sentenced for weapons charges, and we have all the big moments.
Charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of armed career criminal as it relates to the shotgun. Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty? Guilty.
A man married 6 times. 4 of his wives died under mysterious circumstances.
Eccentric widower Thomas Randolph.
Charged with the murders of his wife and the man he allegedly paid to kill her.
A 2017 conviction overturned.
The plan between Mr. Miller and Mr. Randolph was to kill Sharon
Now he faces a jury once again.
The Widower Murder Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings at 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
So there they are in custody, making their way through the airport. Lindsay Shiver and her two alleged co-conspirators, her lover and the alleged hitman that they allegedly solicited for the murder of her husband. Unreal, like to be in that position down in the Bahamas, instead of being in the Bahamas with your husband and your children in your $1 million vacation home, flying down on your private jet. How do you go from that life, right? Your college sweetheart, all of that. How do you go from that life to where she is now, you know? An alleged fling with some 28-year-old local at Grabber's Bar. Like, of all the places she's hanging, Grabber's Bar. I mean, it might be kind of fun, but like, should a mother of 3 be hanging out at Grabber's? Wow. Take a look. This is from the divorce filings. You get a better idea of what the allegation is here by Robert Shiver. The plaintiff, which is Robert Shiver, the husband, also shows that he's entitled to a divorce from the defendant, Lindsay, based upon her adulterous conduct. So I guess it all begins there, right? I mean, I don't know. Is that a symptom or is that the cause? I don't know. I need some help. We all need help. Join us tonight from Los Angeles, forensic psychiatrist, body language expert, columnist of Inside the Criminal Mind and the Front Page Detectives, Dr. Carol Lieberman. And in O-Town, Orlando, Florida, psychotherapist, CEO of Life Counseling Solutions, Dr. Janie Lacey. All right. To me, it's about this contrast, like this incredible life that together it looked like they were enjoying and they were building. How do you go from there to where she is now, walking through the airport, in custody, tomorrow, getting fitted for a monitoring device, not allowed to leave the Bahamas? Dr. Carol Lieberman, I'll begin with you.
Well, it isn't really that complicated. You know, it's not what people want to hear or what they think, you know, should be the case. But they met, Lindsay and Robert met when they were at college. And she was, as it's been said, he was the captain of the football team, and she was a cheerleader, and she had won some pageants and so on, beauty pageants. And so they were, you know, sort of perfectly matched in a way. And then he went on to be in the pros briefly. And then he was cut. And so then he went into insurance. Now, and they had 3 children. And they've been married for 13 years. So after 13 years, you know, and they, of course, were going down to the Bahamas and so on. She had time there alone. And she met this young barman. And he, you know, seemed much more appealing. I mean, it's a big contrast. You know, this is sort of not what she signed up for. A big contrast from the captain of the football team to an insurance guy. I mean, you saw him talking at that meeting, and I think she wanted something a little more exciting.
She got bored. Dr. Janie Lacey, boredom can drive you from living the life that, you know, you don't have to worry about anything. I mean, his family has great wealth. He does very well. They're living, look at this house. My goodness. Look at this house. And and then there's the vacation home down in the Bahamas. Like, I know it's not all about money. It's deeper than that. But this is like part of what your everyday is. And now her everyday, she's gonna be looking for a place to stay down in Nassau.
You know, Vinny, when we look at these situations, and you just said it, what we see is not always what we get, right? These curated pictures and we may look at this life and think, man, what a life that she had. But nobody understands and really knows what was happening inside that marriage. And this contrast of this younger, I believe 8 years younger, and we're looking at him working at a bar. It's not uncommon when people have an affair that they will have an affair with someone that's completely different than their life, right? As Dr. Lieberman mentioned, escapism, you're having this fun, you're not thinking through the consequences. But then when we're looking at her getting to this point, we're making these lifelong decisions that not only affect her husband, but her children, right? That's where we get to these deeper issues. It's not uncommon. People have affairs all day, every day with people who are very different than their spouses. But when we get to this point where you're actually looking at from this deep emotional disruption that you think the only option you have, or whether it is revenge, to take your husband out or even have these conversations or even entertain the ideal, that's an outlier. That's not the norm. And that's what we want to consider in this case.
Okay, so Dr. Carol Lieberman, Inside the Criminal Mind. Again, these are allegations. She is presumed innocent. They are laughing it off as it was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of deal. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But if they were, in fact, soliciting the help of someone else to take him out, how do you go from, again, the all-American life, 3 children, to the point where you want to take out the father of those children? It seems to me that it may some way be connected to that life that she liked. She liked living in a $2.5 million home. She liked flying on a private jet down to the Bahamas. She liked the multi-million-dollar home down there. I mean, who wouldn't like it? And it doesn't seem like she was ready to say goodbye to that and say hello to the guy at grabbing her.
Well, she wasn't necessarily planning on saying goodbye to that. Here's the thing. When he discovered that she was having an affair, he filed for divorce. And, as you say, he filed on the basis of her having this affair. And she's alleging physical abuse and emotional abuse and mental abuse. We don't know if that's really true. But in any case, if she did go through with this and did kill her husband, and before the divorce, she would theoretically, unless he already changed his will and so on, she would still have the house and the kids and all that. That's another thing. They were fighting over custody, not just money, but when 2 parents fight over custody, everything goes out the window. They feel so strongly about it that they'll be willing to do anything. And, on the Bahamas, it doesn't feel real. When you're out there having that kind of life, the seriousness of it sort of escapes you.
Dr. Janie Lacey, it got to a point where the allegations are that she wanted him killed. She wanted him dead. They brought life into this world together. 3 little boys who obviously need their dad. Obviously will have a better life with their dad. Who's going to raise them? The guy from Grabbers?
We can absolutely say that if this is true, that there was an extreme distortion of perception of reality, because that's what you just pointed out, Vinny. Right? So in this situation, we know that if she thought the only option to solve all her problems was to take out the father of her children and the man that was a big contributor to the life that she was living, then we know that there's more to Lindsay than what we're seeing, right? There's that deep perception of reality, and why that's there and how she came to be, where that was the only option that she had from that place of desperation. And as we mentioned, looking at these people who she was involved with in the Bahamas to help her carry it out, it shows a lot about her thought process and where she was in this process of the divorce.
Yeah, again, these are just allegations. I don't know if they were plotting a murder here, but if they were, why would you want to be with someone who would help you plot a murder anyway? I don't understand that either. Is there something to that, Dr. Carolina? Why would you want to be with someone who would be, from either side, right? Either the man, right, from the Bahamas, why would you want to be with a woman who's willing to kill a man that she was just with? Like, how does that dynamic work?
Because he feels that's because I'm so lovable, I'm so attractive, that she's willing to kill her husband to be with me. That's easy for him to convince himself of. But this really isn't that unusual. A lot of times when women
Wait a minute, this isn't unusual. This has got to be unusual.
Well, this kind of a story, this is, obviously very dramatic in the Bahamas, and they were very rich and all that. But I mean, in terms of just regular life, not necessarily super rich people, but just people. A lot of times when women get into their late 30s and into their 40s, and they start feeling as though they're not being treated by their husband. I'm not saying he abused her in any way, but like they don't feel that oomph, that feeling like that the man is just so wildly attracted to you. It's that they want to feel that again. They want to feel like the man is, and yes, in his Instagram and all that, he did make it seem like he was still madly attracted to her. But, it's a sexual attraction. When sexual attraction gets into the picture, logic flies out the window.
Dr. Janie Lacey, I'll finish up here. Like we all know, those of us who've been married and had children, when you have children, like they consume a lot of your time. Do you think there's anything in this that she wanted, like a crazy hall pass from that life? Not just him, but like the whole thing that comes with raising 3 kids. You got 3 little ones all at the same time. My goodness, between the practices, the games, the homework, who's sick, I mean, it's a lot, right? It's a lot for any parent. And do you think maybe that's part of this too, that she wanted to break from all of that?
But when we consider, especially for women, when they enter affair relationships, all of the elements of a fair relationship include that escapism, right? I could be seen, I could be sexual, I can feel all the things that I may not be feeling no longer with my husband because the bills and work and children, all these things set in. So they enter into this fantasy life, which is, gets them drunk, and the brain shows that, the limerence stage, right? So they get drunk and they get this distorted reality, and they become more riskier and riskier and become extremely selfish in that sense, because they want to feel alive. They want to feel all of those elements of what's an affair, which is based on a fantasy, because it is in a tunnel, that they feel. And then they go back home and they look at their husband who's working hard, or whatever the dynamic would be in that relationship, and they're thinking, well, I'm not getting it here, and they keep getting drawn back and time again. It's a very addictive. Affairs are very addictive, especially in a general sense for a woman that has been, maybe he felt unseen. And then you get someone who's younger, and they feel like they're your hero, and then every time you come around, they light up and they're all about you. It's not based in reality.
Interesting. I'm wondering if one of those filters that she put on her picture, she put on her brain. And just, I don't know. All right. Great job today. Thank you so much for the insight, Dr. Carol Lieberman. Dr. Janie Lacey, of course, we'll see you again really soon. In the meantime, when we come back, going to take another look at the Lizzo lawsuit. Lizzo being sued by former dancers. We've got the attorneys representing those dancers next. I got some questions for them. Don't go anywhere.
A man married 6 times. 4 of his wives died under mysterious circumstances.
Eccentric widower Thomas Randolph.
Charged with the murders of his wife and the man he allegedly paid to kill her.
A 2017 conviction overturned.
The plan between Mr. Miller and Mr. Randolph was to kill Sharon.
Now he faces a jury once again.
The Widower Murder Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings at 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
That was the first time I had showed up to one of the Lizzo events, noticeably having gained weight from when I was on the show. She told me she was worried about me, and there was nothing different about me other than my weight. My demeanor was the same, my dance ability was the same, my energy was the same. I think she uses language to avoid being canceled.
So this was, I mean, there were a lot of shocking allegations in the lawsuit filed against Lizzo, but this was one that I don't think anyone expected, that Lizzo has a problem with one of her dancers because of weight, too much weight. And that seems to be one of the allegations here, that Lizzo, who has built a career on, breaking down barriers and saying, no, I can be sexy, I can be large, I can do whatever I want. And had a reality show, literally big girls, and was looking for dancers and found dancers. And now these dancers are fired and are now suing Lizzo for some creepy kind of sexual allegations and body shaming. Like, how does it caught a lot of people by surprise? Can be absolutely devastating to a career for Lizzo, especially because that's her brand. That's who she is and what she's about. Is she a fraud? Well, that's what the allegations seem to indicate. What exactly is going on here? Are these just disgruntled former employees, right? We've heard that term a lot. So let's bring in the attorney. You recognize one of them for sure. The attorneys representing the dancers in this case from Los Angeles, California. West Coast trial lawyers, Nima Romani and Ron Zambrano. Great to have you guys here. Great to see you. All right. Okay, Nima's the one without the glasses. Just trying to figure out who's who here. So I'll start with Rob, though. Rob, why don't you go first? Why is this anything other than disgruntled former employees who couldn't hack it, who maybe were partying a little bit too much, on tour? That seems to be what we're hearing from the other side, is that they weren't getting it done. They may have been doing a little bit of drinking before the shows, not being professional, not up to standards.
Well, first of all, one of the plaintiffs did not get fired. She quit because what she was watching Ariana and Crystal go through, her name's Noelle Rodriguez. And Noelle Rodriguez, because she quit in the allegations of the complaint, and what she told me over and over again, which is why we took the case, was that after she quit, Lizzo tried to hit her, and that's the basis for the assault claim. So it's not a frivolous claim. It's not a disgruntled employee claim because one of the plaintiffs wasn't fired. She had no reason to leave other than the fact that she was disgusted by what she was watching, which included the mistreatment of the employees of color, and the dance captain basically trying to pontificate to her every day, bringing religious connotations to everything in the workplace. And I think people forget this is a work environment. Yes, it's fun, but it's a work environment.
Right, so it's a work environment. I get it. Nima, is it Lizzo who's doing this, or is it someone just below Lizzo who's working for Lizzo who might be doing this stuff unbeknownst to Lizzo?
No, Vinny, Lizzo is there. I mean, she's there during the sex show. She's there during this conversation with Ari, where they're asking her about her weight, and she's confiding in them, saying that she has an eating disorder, she has anxiety, she has depression, and she's terminated a couple weeks later. So Lizzo's responsible for the conduct of her manager. We all know that. That's good old vicarious liability.
Right. No, I understand why.
She's actually there, too.
But she's physically there. So she's
physically there. So her presence is there.
Okay. So let's get to the sexual part of all this, right? Isn't that part of the act? Isn't that part of Lizzo and who she is? I mean, have you seen what she wears? Have you seen these outfits?
Vinny, I have, but let me tell you something.
Have you seen them?
Personal life? I have seen them.
Okay.
I have seen them. But it's not, look, there's certain things that are appropriate for a concert or a show or a music video, but I don't know any work environment where,
Nima, you'd be surprised what's going to get muted out of this segment. Okay, I get it. Let me read Lizzo's Instagram response, at least part of it, so you guys can respond to her response and let me know what's going on here. These last few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult. My work ethic, morals, and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. Usually I choose not to respond to false allegations, but they are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous to not be addressed. These sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. So were they told that their behavior was inappropriate and unprofessional before they were, according to them, before they were fired?
No, so that we've been getting at that asked a lot. So this is what happened, and this is part of the lawsuit. Noelle, who is not black, but she's still a person of color, she was specifically excluded by the management team when these things were being told to Ari and Crystal, who were black, and these I guess criticisms and also the other black dancers. When this was being said to the other black dancers, this was in response to all the dancers asking for, hey, can you guys pay us a retainer? Because all the rest of the crew is getting paid a retainer, or else we're losing work. We don't know if you're gonna hire us. And after that, they're being told, oh, you're being unprofessional. But how are you being unprofessional when you're standing up for your rights and asking just to not, starve?
So what's the racial aspect of who's being discriminated against? Clarify that for me, Nima.
Sure.
Or Rob, either way.
Ron.
So it's the two black plaintiffs. It's Ariana and Crystal. And Noelle, one of the reasons that Noelle's presence is so important, not only that she quit, again, she wasn't fired, but she told me, and she's been telling anyone who's interviewed her on this topic, that she herself believed that the black dancers, including Ari and Chrissy, were being treated differently because of their color. Because whenever
they're being treated worse.
Yes, being treated worse, and whenever that was happening, they would take Noelle aside and going, hey, Noelle, don't worry, this really doesn't apply to you, this applies to them.
This is going to be some trial. I know you civil guys always settle stuff.
Not always.
No, not this one, Vinny.
And
I hope your producers are ready to cover this trial.
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to push this one the whole way.
All right, neither one of you better object to the cameras in the courtroom either.
Not at all.
I don't want any of that malarkey.
We welcome them.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your time tonight. Nima Ramani, you know him. Rob Zambrano, thank you so much for giving us some insight into the suit. And obviously, we'll continue to cover it here on Closing Arguments and Court TV. In the meantime, coming up next, something else you absolutely need to know tonight. Plus, coming up next hour.
In Las Vegas, Nevada, the widower, Thomas Randolph, is accused of hiring a hitman to murder his wife. He's also accused of then murdering the hitman. Randolph has been married 6 times, and 4 of his wives are dead. We have the latest from court.
I told Mr. Randolph that there were issues with what we had found at the scene versus what he had told us.
These are the cases that captivated the world.
Couldn't keep my life straight.
That demanded our attention.
They were killed by their own children.
That challenged the legal system and ourselves.
How in the world can a mother wait 30 days before reporting her child missing?
These are the trials that became legendary. And now you can relive them all in one place. Court TV Legendary Trials. Go to courttv.com/legendary trials to find out how to watch.
I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe. What's that? You know how long I fought with him? He was being held down. They will kill me. I can't breathe. This is why you don't do drugs, kids.
That statement, this is why you don't do drugs, kids. Tu Tao, one of the officers there during the murder of George Floyd. Tu Tao, the last of all those defendants, those 4 defendants, to finally be sentenced. Finally, it happened. Something else I thought you needed to know tonight. Tu Tao, the only one of the 4 who didn't put his hands on George Floyd at all, didn't touch him, did not touch him. Sort of in charge of the crowd control, bad jokes, did nothing to help. Was the most senior person, other than Chauvin, the killer, the most senior person there who could have done something about it, but did not. So he was sentenced today in state court. Let's take a listen to what he had to say and then what the judge said.
1 year ago, I said, I promised that I would come witness here for Jesus today, and that's what I'll do. Obviously, on that day, I didn't intend on doing any malice or anything like that, or try to hurt anyone. That was never my intent. I did the best I thought I could.